Hello and welcome to my video and welcome to Blanchardstown. Blanchardstown is a suburb of Dublin. It's actually considered the Paris of Dublin, but it's got the good and the bad and the ugly, and I might be reporting on that. Last time I was in Ireland was 4 years ago, just before COVID. My uncle was passing away. It was the west coast of Ireland, and the last time I was in Dublin was about 5 years ago. Now I've heard Dublin has changed. I'm not sure if it has or if it hasn't. If you'd like to find out, stick around. Hi, my name is Steve Morgan, and from the age of 16, when I left home, I've had some crazy adventures. It's been the good, the bad and the ugly. And that's why I decided to do Morgan's World, to share those journeys with you. To keep up to date with my life's journeys, please like and subscribe to my channel below. Welcome to my world. So normally when I'm in Ireland, or when I was a kid and I was in Ireland, I'd stay with my grandmother, and she lived in a place called County Mayo. And ever since then, it's been really expensive. So I've stayed in hostels or bed and breakfasts. And because of Ireland's experiencing a little bit of a refugee crisis, it has made everything very, very expensive. So normally I wouldn't stay in a hotel like this. This is normally a little bit out of my league, but I thought I'd spend a little bit more money and have a little bit of luxury and not having all the people snoring and fighting like I'd normally have in a hostel or wherever I would be. Let's check out this room and see if it's worth it. Okay, all right. Well, I can't bloody complain. This is nice. This is a little bit luxury, actually. This is not normally what I'm used to when I stay in Ireland. So I'm on my way to Dublin city centre, and the bus fare has cost me €2.60, which is a lot cheaper than the cab fare. And I had a little joke with the bus driver if he can see what I'm putting in, because they only accept coins, they don't accept cards, which seemed a little bit old-fashioned. But the good news is this bus does run 24 hours, so hopefully I'll make it back to my accommodation and I will not have to pay the extortionate cab fare. So I'm looking forward to being in Dublin, because like I said, I haven't been there in many years. And I'm dying for a really good pint of Guinness. Guinness is one of my favourite drinks in the world, and obviously Ireland has the best Guinness. So I'm in Dublin city centre. It is just about to be midnight. Right in front of me, I believe, is Connell Street, if my memory serves me right, and that is the River Liffey, and across that bridge, that direction, will be Temple Bar, and that's where I'm going to head, because that's where, you know, the stupid tourists all go, and I guess I am one of them. So it's the next morning, and last night was a good night. This is the view from the office. Blanchardstown has one of Ireland's biggest shopping centres. And it's time to go downstairs and get myself an Irish breakfast. So let's see what Irish breakfast gets us at the Crown Plaza. Some tomatoes, beans, mushrooms, black pudding, and if you don't know what that is, that's like pig's blood. Sausages. Not the greatest selection, but I guess it's good for maybe the amount of people here. Some nice Irish bread. Irish bread is lovely. This soda bread. So I have myself a perfect Irish breakfast with the black pudding and the white pudding. And if I had a pint of Guinness right now, that would make it a breakfast of champions. So as I leave the hotel and I go exploring, you can see there's just like a whole range of shops over there, the other side of the road, and across the road as well, where the buses are, right down there. There's just a whole range of typical shops, which is kind of nice, I guess, if you're an Irish resident. But from my perspective as a tourist, there needs to be something else to stand out. Let's see what's inside this mall. Well, it's a very nice mall, and it's the perfect place if you're into shopping. But I'm not the kind of guy who likes to shop. I made a video a few months ago called Killing Time in an Average Australian Town called Mackay. And this mall reminds me of the mall I saw in Mackay, thousands of miles away in sunny Australia. Now this is nice, isn't it? Whoa, and the mall just goes on. It's a lot bigger than what I thought it'd be. I've done no research into this place, so I'm discovering this for the first time, like you might be watching this video. So they got a McDonald's and Nando's, a Milano, which is the equivalent to our Pizza Express. Very lovely place. And one of my favourite restaurants, TGI Fridays. I love that place. Just got American junk. It's heart attack on a plate, but I really love the place. And here's a little money saving tip. You can scan your receipt and earn points in TGI Fridays if you download the app. And they also send you special offers. Definitely worth doing. Another money saving tip from watching my channel. So the UK TGI Fridays app does not work here in Ireland, which would probably make sense. So let's see what else this town has to offer before it buckets it down. It's probably going to rain, and it might rain heavy. OMG, as I continue exploring, look what I have found. They have a Wetherspoons pub, and if you're not from the UK, the Wetherspoons is where you can get a really cheap drink. Last night I was in Temple Bar and I was paying €10 for a pint of Guinness. Look at the prices there, so cheap. Maybe I'll come here later and save a few pennies. I've actually just snuck in here to the Wetherspoons, or not really snuck in, but had a little look. And those prices are just amazing. You cannot beat those prices. I should also just point out that I did say if you're not from the UK, but if you're not from Ireland, you may not have heard of a Wetherspoons pub. I had heard that Wetherspoons had a few pubs in Ireland, but I never thought I'd actually bump into one. And I've been walking for about 15-20 minutes now, and I'm like now in what is Blanchard's village. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping to see something kind of like really historical, something really old, and the best I can find is perhaps like a little bit of moss growing on the side of this house, and couple of houses that look a little bit more older, but nothing really that special. Nothing too historic about it. And something else that is surprising me at the moment is how this weather is holding up. It has been absolutely pissing it down in the UK, and Dublin seems a little bit drier for some reason, which is a little bit weird. So the first recorded population of Blanchard would have been around the 13th century, and it would have been a family called Blanchard that owned all the land around here. And the word Blanchard would have been like an old English or perhaps Gaelic name, and it meant white. So obviously the people were white, but I presume it was they had white hair, blonde hair, as we would know it. Now this looks like it could be a proper Irish pub. Let's have a peek inside and see what it looks like. Now this is my cup of tea. Proper Irish pub. So I got the choice to go to the Irish pub tonight. They've actually got like a nightclub on the other side, and it stays up until 3 in the morning, or I can go back into Dublin. I'll probably go back into Dublin, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now that's slightly a little bit nicer to look at, a little bit more old-fashioned. I love that place right over there. Not sure if that's a pub or just a alcohol store. Yeah, the smaller shops and a nice little church. Yeah, this is more touristy, more what we know Ireland for. You know, it's pubs and it's culture, and not these big sprawling shopping malls. So I just went into the church behind me. You know, I was just curious about what it looked like inside. You know, I mean, churches can be a very beautiful place just to look at, but I wasn't expecting to see people. And there was like about a dozen people just praying in silence. And that is the old school Ireland. Churches used to be full. Every village, every town in Ireland had a church, and they had many pubs, and they were all full. The churches and the pubs were both full. And I can tell you, they are dying now. Both of them are dying. Unfortunately, you know, at least keep the pubs alive. And it's a 2-for-1. You've got the Holy Spirit and spirits. So I'm with these young lads, and I'm going to ask you, what's it like here in Blanchardstown? Is it good? Scummy? Yeah. It's not a good place? Nah. Is it shit?
It's fucking shit, bro.
It's no good. Is there things to do? Is there things to do in this town?
There's fuck all to do, bro. That's a shit hole, man.
Well, there you hear it from the younger generation. I don't know. So maybe I need to ask a few older people. Okay, so I'm back in the mall, and before I leave the mall, I've met this other young chap, and I'm going to ask you, what's your name again, mate?
My name is Taya.
Taya, nice to meet you. Taya. You're not tired, are you?
Taya.
Taya, sorry. So, what is it like here? What is this town like?
I mean, it's a solid shopping centre. It has clothing stores, food stores.
No, but what's it like in the town? Is it a nice town to live in?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Do people treat you good? Is there any racism or anything like that? Well, there you go. There you go. Okay, you've got the good, the bad, the ugly, and I think it's actually, what I've seen so far is pretty good. This is a good suburb of Ireland. Would you agree? Kind of?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm almost back at my hotel, but I've come a different direction, and I've noticed this place, Captain America's, and they used to have one in Dublin city centre years ago. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I met the owner of this place, Captain America's in London, about, I'm going to say 28 years ago. My daughter had just been born, and I was over in the UK going through a divorce, unfortunately, and this guy cheered me up. Him and his crew, they were in London, and we had a few shots. I wonder if he's still working in this place. Right, boss. Do they still have the Captain Americas in Dublin city centre?
Yeah, they do.
Is it still the same owner? Because I went drinking with him. I went drinking with him 30 years ago. Is it still the same owner of Captain Americas from? So the manager there probably thought us from food and hygiene or health and safety or whatever. But then I explained to him that I actually know his boss, the owner of Captain America, and there is still a Captain America in Dublin, and I do recommend the place from what I remember from eating there. And I did go on the piss. I went on the piss with the owner of Captain America's. I met him in London about, I'm going to say exactly 28 years ago, and he was there with a few of his team members, you know, like his staff. He was treating them to a few days away, you know, all expenses paid. And we were in a bar in Leicester Square. I think it was the Long Island iced tea shop. You know, it's amazing how I'm just remembering this, because my memory ain't the greatest memory. And we had a really good night. We were drinking shot after shot after shot. I almost got into a fight. Some guy threw his girlfriend down the stairs, and you know, but fortunately didn't get arrested that night, and we all had a very, very good time. I'm out having a little jog, and there's a little hole in the road where I was jogging, and I felt myself tripping, and I tried to regain my balance. I was more worried about my phone than anything else. But anyway, little wound, nothing too bad. Continue jogging, and then time to hit the pubs. So I'm back in the Irish pub, and what's your name? And what's your name? Is this a good town to live in?
Yeah.
It is. Because, alright, so I asked some youngsters earlier and they said it was shite. So I said I'm going to ask some older people. You're not that old, but you're older than probably the teenagers. And you think it's a good town. I think it's a good town as well, right?
Sorry. Like, I'm not from here. I enjoy living here. I live 4 hours away. That's where I'm from.
And do you recommend?
I'm happy enough to stay.
Do you recommend this bar? This is like a proper, typical Irish bar. I really love it. I'm not going to get the people in, oh, I'll get this guy in it, he wants it. You know? This is a proper Irish bar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm with this lovely guy called Paul. Paul, is this a good town to live in?
Oh, lovely place, can't beat it.
You can't beat it, yeah? And how long have you lived there for?
All my life.
And that wouldn't be that long, would it?
Well, my life's so far.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'm glad you recommend this place to tourists or whatever.
Long live the Greyhound.
The Greyhound is the name of this pub.
Yes.
Okay, and right there they have like a dance floor. I probably won't be there because I think I'm going into Dublin. But there's a dance floor, and it's a dance floor on the weekend. And I totally recommend the Greyhound pub if you're in Ireland or Dublin Centre, I should say. So I'm in the Wetherspoons, and I have just ordered 2 pints of Beamish and a steak and chips, and it is only just over 13 euros. What a bargain. You cannot get that anywhere in Ireland. So I'm back in the hotel, got myself a pint. I'm going to head into town. I got Sean, alright Sean? And I've got Peter. Any words? Is this a good town? Is this a good town, yeah?
Oh, we're smashing, yeah.
The place to be.
Alright, so this is probably where the video's going to end. Or maybe I might continue it a little bit tomorrow, but I know I'm going to be too fucked up later to continue recording, and there's been enough videos of me messed up. So, I'll see you soon. So it's the next day, and I'm in Dublin city centre. Last night went how I predicted it would go. It was a little bit messy, so that's why I didn't film anything. And if my memory serves me right, I'm here on O'Connell Street. I can get a bus to the airport, and that will save me probably about 30 euros. But right next to me here is a very, very famous landmark in Ireland. Let me show you it. This is the main post office in Ireland, or in Dublin, I should say. And it's got a lot of history behind it. It was built in 1814, and if you can see there, these are like either like bullet fragmentation or shrapnel. But this was the site of the 1916 Easter Uprising. You may have seen the movie Michael Collins with Liam Neeson, and this is the post office that was portrayed in it. Very famous landmark building. I thought I'd share that out because I just love history. So I'm in the T1 Lounge in Dublin. I do recommend it, Sláinte. And I also recommend Blanchardstown, where I stayed, a suburb of Dublin, if you've been to Ireland before. Now, if you've never been to Ireland before, but you want to check out Dublin, then I'd suggest for your first visit, go to Dublin city centre. But for your second visit, if you're a veteran of Ireland and Dublin, then I do recommend one of the suburbs. You know, it's a little bit more authentic. You get a little bit of the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of city life and country life. You meet nice, genuine people, and it is what it is. Okay, so I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And an Irish person once told me in Castlebar in County Mayo, the west coast of Ireland, he said, if I never see you again, I'll see you in heaven. So if you do not subscribe or whatever, I'll see you all in heaven, if it exists. See you on the next journey.